Get wrecked.
What's up, everybody? Ned Flanders here, back with another wonderful video. I just want to give a quick shout out to God Almighty for finally allowing me to get a haircut tomorrow. It is the day of my reconciliation, and I am really excited. But for now, I once again welcome you all to another episode of Wrecked Wednesdays. Today, Big Daddy Hunter is once again going to respond to wee little lad Hunter with logic, facts, biological, common sense, reality. Today, the video we're responding to is this one that I posted September 16th, 2016. And since then, over the course of several years, this video went on to garner nearly 1 million views. Wow. Also, very contentious, 39k likes, 20k dislikes. I'm sorry, Hunter. I also really hope your liver gets better, because why the hell are you like the color of bile right now? It was because I was recording in this room where I had nothing but disgusting fluorescent lighting. I didn't have professional lighting equipment at the time. I don't really feel that bad that I look like disgusting right now, because I also look disgusting here. So, hey, there's one thing that I've kept in common. Consistency. Based.
Love Donald Trump. Number one, I support Donald Trump because I like his ideas. Believe it or not, the guy who kind of looks like a sweet potato actually has some pretty good ideas. For example, the wall. Like it or not, we have a problem with illegals entering our country right now.
Stop. All right. Actually, no. You can actually look here at this article, which is research from 2015. So I believe this would have been available when I made this video. Mexican immigration was declining. It's just kind of weird that I'm saying I like the wall on the southern border, but yet Mexican immigration is just kind of steady and slowly declining. Right here it even shows, among unauthorized immigrants, Mexicans may no longer be the majority. Hunter, like it or not, we don't really have like a huge problem with illegal immigrants entering the country. And also, let it be known that if we want to fix this problem, we should make it easier to immigrate here legally. And two, the people that have already lived here illegally for 15 years, they should be given a social security number. They should be granted citizenship. Now they can be held accountable. Now they can pay taxes. Also, immigrants, legal or illegal, do benefit the economy overall.
And Trump's policy is basic common sense. We have people entering illegally, so let's put something in their way so they can't get in. Duh. This is not...
Wait, did I really I guess this is where common sense gets you. Neanderthal thinking. Yeah, just put something in their way and then they can't get through. Duh! Do I need to bring this up? The typical unauthorized immigrant adult has lived in the US for 15 years. Like, a wall is not really gonna do much. This just completely ignores the nuances of this very nuanced subject. This is the most two-dimensional approach. This just completely ignores the intricacies of, like, how illegals got here in the first place, why they're coming here, how a lot of them are here because of overstayed visas. There are all kinds of intricacies here that a wall would not help to fix at all.
I don't know about you, but I don't like that 62% of illegal immigrants are on welfare.
I'm aware that this does not debunk the argument, but this comes from Center for Immigration Studies. They are an anti-immigration think tank founded in the 80s by, yes, a white nationalist and a eugenicist. It is a little embarrassing that I didn't do my due diligence. I didn't know that site was so radical, I guess, but whatever. It was really irresponsible of me to cite this very biased and stupid think tank that should not be trusted. Secondly, I don't even know where they got this information from, but it's just wrong. Illegal immigrants, they're not really eligible for very much welfare. This comes from immigrationforum.org. Undocumented immigrants, including DACA holders, are ineligible to receive most federal public benefits. So in some states, immigrants are eligible for state benefit programs. Documented and undocumented immigrants pay more into public benefit programs than they take out. According to Institution on Taxation and Economic Policy, undocumented immigrants contribute an estimated $11.74 billion to state and local economies each year. However, undocumented immigrants are not eligible for many of the federal or state benefits that their tax dollars help fund. Damn, so it sounds like immigrants, whether they're documented or undocumented, pay more into public benefit programs than they take out.
That illegal immigrants are murdering Americans and getting away with it.
This Kate Steinle thing was absolutely terrible. Of course, it was a tragedy, but to extrapolate from this one story to flash it up on screen really quick and say, I don't like that illegal immigrants are murdering Americans. Hold up. That's not what's happening. This is almost like using an anecdote to justify your perception of a broad group of people. If you want to do that, you have to look at broader statistics. And if you look at it that way, you'll see that undocumented immigrants are actually far less likely to commit crimes in the US rather than citizens.
I don't know about you, but I don't like that 90% of illegal drugs consumed by Americans come from Mexico.
Yeah, this is also a really shallow understanding. Once again, obviously it's bad that a lot of illegal drugs come from Mexico, but that's because a lot of illegal drugs come from the cartel, which dominates Mexico. And I'm sorry, but the cartel is really, really powerful. And now we're able to look back and what do we get for Trump's big, beautiful, bold wall? It was like a fence, right? So I'm sorry, the cartel, that's not going to stop them from bringing drugs in. Also, here's an updated study from Cato Institute. 77% of drug traffickers are U.S. citizens, not illegal immigrants. Either way, this is just a really shallow way to say that immigrants are bad.
Not hate immigrants, whether they're legal or not, and neither does Trump. After all, he is married to an immigrant.
He married an immigrant? Am I gonna do the identity politics thing? Slave masters would do all kinds of things to their slaves. That doesn't mean that they weren't racist. The fact that Melania Trump is an immigrant is also a bit of irony on Trump's side because he's so anti-immigration. He even condemned chain migration multiple times, and that's how Melania Trump and her family immigrated to this country.
Secondly, I think that our process to become a U.S. citizen needs to be made easier. Right now, it's long, tedious, expensive, and overall extremely difficult.
Thank you.
I think we could cut back on the amount of people entering illegally if we made it easier to enter legally.
That all makes sense. Yes, so then why don't we focus on that and ditch the bullshit wall thing?
Another idea I like from Trump is the temporary Muslim ban. Temporary pause on Muslim immigration is not racism, and it's not even bigotry.
Yeah, it quite literally is bigotry. It's funny I say that. Once Trump was president, the Supreme Court struck down his Muslim ban twice. 2 different times they struck it down on the basis of religious discrimination. And finally, in 2018, they passed the 3rd rendition of the Muslim ban, which put other countries on there also that weren't majority Muslim. So I know that hindsight's 2020, but still.
Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but our vetting system has a real problem right now. For example, the San Bernardino shooter was not fully vetted for a US visa.
I'm making broad claims and then backing it up with just one example. Obviously, this is bad, but no, that's just not true. The United States has one of the most rigorous refugee vetting processes. Refugees are the most thoroughly screened people who travel into the United States. America has one of the most stringent immigration policies. Now, obviously, it's terrible that this crime happened and that it was committed by someone who maybe found a loophole or wasn't vetted properly. And yeah, that should be looked at, but you can't look at this one example and then say, it's obvious we have a big problem with our vetting system, when in reality, the United States has one of the most strict vetting processes.
Now, this is just my personal opinion and my personal feelings here, but I don't really want to get blown up.
I would still prefer not to be blown up, yes.
You see, the problem isn't Muslims, the problem is Islam, a dangerous ideology that cannot coincide with the Western world until it is reformed.
Do I mean coexist? It can't exist in the Western world? That's a little yikesy sounding, I'm gonna be completely honest. Once again, I am wrong, and once again, I am now right. U.S. Muslims are more accepting of homosexuality than white evangelicals. This is a recent survey done by Pew Research Center. They found a notable shift in the views of American Muslims when it comes to homosexuality. So I would argue that maybe white evangelicals can't coexist in the Western world. There are plenty of ideologies that exist in America right now that you could argue aren't compatible with America. Like, look at neo-Nazis, for example. They want to deport all brown people. I would say that goes against some fundamental American principles right there. Furthermore, once again from Cato Institute, U.S. Muslims become more socially liberal as Muslim immigration rises. Now listen, I don't like religion. I think that religion taken to extremes can be used to do all kinds of bad things and justify all kinds of horrible acts. But I also think it's fair to recognize that as Muslims enter our country and they interact with the broader population, their views become more socially liberal. Meanwhile, you have white evangelical Christians who are the opposite. They're the most staunchly conservative, anti-gay dumb fucks in our country right now.
Trump's understanding of money would greatly improve the economy. According to an article on CNBC, Donald Trump may better serve the US economy than Hillary Clinton as president, as the presumptive Republican nominee is more likely to introduce fiscal stimulus. Fiscal stimulus works by lowering taxes, and Trump does plan on cutting taxes. This includes a $2,732 tax cut.
So it's always really interesting looking at these videos now because hindsight's 2020. You can just look back and see, is this correct? Now, of course, going to be charitable. When I made this video, I had no way of knowing that, and it's completely plausible that, yeah, maybe there were some Trump policies that people thought would be better for the economy than Clinton's policies. 100% sure. But now we can look back and see that Trump's goal was to cut corporate taxes. He wanted companies to come back to this country. It was very much like the Reagan sort of trickle-down economics thing, which has been proven, by the way, to not work. And unfortunately, that's what happened. It didn't work. You had corporate tax rates getting cut. Corporations already take advantage of so many loopholes to avoid paying their taxes. And overall, Trump's tax cuts didn't really benefit or harm the middle class. It was mostly just neutral. And then I go here to explain his bankruptcies, which again is fine. He's a business owner. If you got to declare bankruptcy, that's what you got to do. I don't care. I think that criticizing Trump for going bankrupt would be a dumb criticism of him anyway. So I then proceed to kind of debunk, right, these Donald Trump is racist, Donald Trump is sexist, all this. I go into this story that this woman published with Yahoo News talking about a project she did with Trump and how he wasn't sexist, he was always really nice to her and everything else. And then to try and debunk the claim that Donald Trump is a racist, I bring up this thing where Donald Trump fought to include Jews and black people at Palm Beach golf course in the 1990s. Trump's a businessman. I personally think he was probably doing that because he wanted to make more money. But either way, that's cool. That's great. Like, you can point at his past. You can say this. You can say that. The truth of the matter is, I don't actually care. I don't care if Donald Trump himself is racist. I don't care if behind closed doors, he's a fucking MLK. Because the truth of the matter is, Donald Trump and his rhetoric empowered racism, and the consequences of his speech were racist consequences. And you can look at the actual data here and see that there are multiple different studies showing that Donald Trump rose to prominence on anti-immigrant racist sentiments. And you can see right here, the data demonstrate that anti-immigrant sentiment, racism, and sexism are much more strongly related to support for Trump. Even more alarmingly, there is a clear correlation between Trump campaign events and incidences of prejudiced violence. FBI data show that since Trump's election, there have been an anomalous spike in hate crimes concentrated in counties where Trump won by larger margins. And I also recognize that this is correlation more than anything, but they even did a more controlled study, and they basically gave people this Trump quote: when Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. The classic Trump quote. And they found that those who had read Trump's words were more likely to write derogatory things not only about Mexican people, but also about other groups as well. I think another really good example of this is how Trump's Chinese virus tweet helped lead to rise in racist anti-Asian Twitter content, according to this study. And I don't think it's just anti-Asian Twitter content. You can see that hate crimes against Asians have been spiking. And again, that's strongly correlated with Trump's China virus rhetoric. And this is what I mean, is when you are the president of the United States and when you have a platform where millions of people are listening to every word you say, you need to be really, really careful about how that language can be misconstrued. And as a politician, you need to recognize that there are multiple unintended consequences when it comes to what you say.
He's brave and he's strong. He's good with money and can help us out of debt. And his cut and dry policies can't.
Oh, that statement aged so badly. Trump contributed to the national debt in astronomical ways. He was one of the biggest contributors to the national debt. And you know one of the reasons why? His tax cuts on corporations. Then, of course, you do have the pandemic, so you got to be a little charitable there. But overall, that statement that Trump's going to help us out of debt, whew, that did not age well.
And will work. Donald Trump truly cares about America, and I really believe he wants to do what's best for all of us.
I don't really like that I sound like I'm talking about a man crush. I'm like, he's strong, he's tall, he's big, he's luscious, he cares for our country. It's like, chill, dude. And boy, why am I hanging out with a bunch of pictures of Donald Trump on my computer? Yeah, this is getting creepier and creepier as I ask these questions. Please give this video a like, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all soon. Remember, don't love any politician or any president. Be critical of everyone, okay? Good. Unlike white evangelical Christians. Peace.
The beat is a hitchhiker going wherever the rhyme take it right. Painted black with a mirror on the side hanging, violating, cussing out deaf people in sign language. Middle finger high waving, got the whole vibe changing. The big dog from the Sandlot is back. You a copycat, blue stripes on your hockey mask. This the authentic, arsenic, hard hitting, car flipping, raw lyric, hot enough to thaw chicken. You burn to a crisp like a perm when it itch. I puncture the ribs, then I turn, then I twist. The earth couldn't prevent the return of the Sith. I'm a